This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, Atulya. It is very good
Hi.
to have you here. So, you are a theater practitioner who has done her master's in theater and is currently teaching theater in one of the reputed schools in Delhi. And you also conduct personal workshops for people who need guidance in theater and acting, right?
Yes, that's right.
So, first of all, I would like to ask you that why did you choose theater? Like, there is so much struggle getting into this field, and scope is relatively less. I mean, in minds of Indian parents. So,
Hmm.
what made you choose this field?
So basically, like every other child, I was also not so much into theater because in India, you don't have so much awareness about theater, right? It's still building. So when I was in school, I used to be this kid who was very shy, who doesn't talk a lot. Matlab, I had a lot to express, but I could never really, go all out there, or maybe I didn't get the right kind of support. So I did have a lot of creativity in me, but I didn't know how to take all of that out. So now cut to my graduation, where I went to do my political science honors. So in Delhi University, you have a couple of societies. uh, some have theater in it, some have dance in it. So there are a couple of societies. So I went on to audition for this theater society and the dance society. So for theater society, I saw that so there was also one thing here, that I was in a all girls college.
Okay.
So as soon as I started, I was like, okay, this is a safe space, because we are with the same gender,
Right.
nothing to judge here. And even though they judge, I mean, I think that it is safer to be judged by the same gender. That is what I thought back then. I was like, it's okay,
Right.
because we are all the same, and nothing. What would go worse, that my
Right.
audition might go bad. So that time I realized that I really had this urge to perform and bring out my talent there. And they gave us different situations to which you had to be a crocodile, you had to laugh on top of your voice, and you have to go all out crazy. So I enjoyed the process so much that I thought that no, I will go with this theater society. And the journey started from there. And I must say that it has been very, very rewarding for me, because from the time I started, I saw a change, a personality shift in me.
Right.
So because when you enter theater, it is not just you are going there to act or just to perform for the sake of performing. There is a lot that goes behind that also. The preparation, the stage where you are observing, you are learning how to exactly project your voice, so much to it. You're exercising. So I found out all that to be really interesting and very intriguing also at the same time. So there are some characters that we read, and there are some characters that we think, yeah, this is pretty easy, and some are really complex. So that easy and complex really pushed me towards it, that how can you portray this character and then transform into this characters.
Right.
So how does that all that happen? So I had a lot of questions in mind also. And by the end of my graduation year, I had made up my mind that this is what I'm going to do. Theater is what I'm going to do. And it has changed me also. Then I went on to do my masters in theater from Punjab University, Indian Theater Department. There where I only studied about how theater is, what is the process that goes beyond the acting bit of it. So it really opened up my eyes. And also I feel that one should always do something that really makes you happy. So theater really made me happy, and I'm really happy that I took this as my profession. So I think happiness is the thing that really drove me here.
So, you must have faced a lot of restrictions, like from your parents, from relatives. Like, why are you not doing traditional jobs like engineering and stuff? So, was it
Yeah, so
hard?
my parents did want me to go for UPSC, and I did try for a while also. But see, your heart will only go where it correctly fits, right? So I had to go there only. And what is in wasting some money in some course that you feel, you don't feel personally interested in, but the society thinks that,
Right.
you can do it and you can get a good secure job. But what if I'm not happy by the end of it?
Right.
So I think it was important for me, and I made that decision that I'm going to go with this subject only. So yeah, I did have some restrictions also. And for my theater practices also, it used to go until 6 7 sometimes, and we had to go for plays and everything also. I did have some restrictions, but I fought all of them. And
Right.
I made clear to myself and to them also, this is something important and this is something I really love. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go all out for it. And I'm glad that I did it.
So were you scared in the meanwhile while you were doing acting and stuff? Like, there's no job security, or will there be?
Yeah, this is something I think everybody thinks in this field, is that there is a very limited, option criteria for there out for you, that if you do a certain kind of, maybe you're a singer, or if you're into music, you
Yeah.
can just go into that part of it, and that part of it also has a lot of competition in it. So I did think in the starting that, it is very difficult to survive just going out there auditioning, or and even for directing something, if you want to direct something, it is always you need some backing.
Right.
Either you're financially well, or you have some contacts, that great of contacts to, reach there. So uh, I didn't have both of them. I was not that financially well, or I didn't have that type of contacts. So I took out a way for myself, and I wanted to carry forward my passion also, and had some, and wanted to have some job security also. So I went on to be a theater teacher with a good school. So this school really promotes theater a lot. So this is what really pulled me towards this school, and I went on to look for that option. That is why I got this option. People are, I think, restrict themselves thinking that ki nahi isme shayad koi, you don't have any future in this job.
Hmm.
And I know if for artist it's like, why to go for a job, right?
Exactly.
You want to act or you want to direct, why
Yeah.
to go for a job?
Yeah.
So it is very important ki you need to be somewhat stable. I know people would not agree completely with me,
Yeah.
but it is somewhat it's important for you to be financially somewhat stable, so that you can support yourself ahead.
Right.
So I've worked for 2.5 years, so I know that I can support myself in future. If I don't have a job, if I plan to leave my job, I will have something to fall back on, right? I have saved something for myself where I can look back, and I can think, okay, for the next 1 year or maybe 1.5 year, I can support myself. I have that with me to experiment, rather than just going all out. And it does take time, and I don't know, I mean, how many people are ready. I always wanted security, that's why I went for a job. And that doesn't mean that it limits you creatively. You always have that time to take out for yourself, to do something creative that you feel you are really driven towards. So I think it's all about how you see things.
So you got the best of both worlds. That is really smart, actually.
I must say, I've tried to figure that out for myself.
Yeah, that's okay. So, for most of the audience, can you explain what is the difference between theater acting and acting in Bollywood, Hollywood movies?
Yeah. So theater acting, as we all know, what theater is, that you're going to a place to watch a play, right? A play that's written, and there's a stage, and audience is sitting right in front of you. So they are together at one place.
Yeah.
In cinemas also, it is the same, but then it is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the audience is there live,
Yeah.
but the actors are not live, right?
Yeah.
So in theater, what happens is that in theater mostly you don't have mics.
Right.
It's like you need to project your voices. Some theaters, yeah, of course, you as you progress, and different stage settings have different things in them. So like that, you have different dimensions to it, but otherwise everything is going on live. सो आपकी जो गलती करने की जो गुंजाइश होती है वो भी थोड़ी सी बढ़ जाती है. एंड व्हाट हैपेंस इन सिनेमा इज दैट you are on a camera where they will say cut,
But
this is
right.
not looking good. Huh?
And they'll
Take
edit
two,
the scene.
take three,
Right.
four. Yeah, and they will edit the scene. And right, and at the same time, they have a variety to select from, and they pay you also that well. Yeah. So it's a whole business kind of a thing. And whereas in theater, it is, I would say, it's more of your love towards acting and how you want to be there in front, because you get a certain kind of rush also when you're performing in front of live audience
Right.
rather than it being recorded. And also it also in terms of, camera recording and how audience sees you. If you're sitting right in front of me, like we are face to face, not the camera or anything, you'll be able to see that, how am I sitting, what am I wearing completely, how am I feeling. But in this camera you can only make out from this portion
Yeah.
what I am showing you,
Yeah.
right? You cannot see what's there in this part of my room, or maybe five people are standing right in front of me and you won't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
see, that is the difference.
so it is unfiltered basically. Everything that
Yeah, it's
uh,
unfiltered. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's lot of hard work also to
right,
be,
right.
to reach that perfection in front of live audience.
What if you mess up your line, or what if the
Yeah,
light
what if
doesn't
you
work?
mess up your lines? What if, something goes wrong with your costume, or maybe your co-actor forgot his lines, or you
Right.
forgot your lines? What happens then? Right? In front of the audience, you can't go, okay, cut, next scene. You
Yeah.
can't go that
So
ways.
much go on.
So that is the major difference.
Yeah. Okay. So uh, I would like to ask you, like, you teach students for acting. So how have they been helped in their personal lives?
So, with my journey so far, I have seen kids from grade 4 to grade 12th.
Right.
This is specifically, I'm talking about school going kids. So,
You also taught me.
as yes, I also taught you. So, there is a certain kind of difference that I see in you also. So, I'll be happy to think that I could contribute some part of you in changing into this Akash. So, see, this is the difference that happens even with the kids that I taught. I could see that in the starting, everybody has this inhibition, right? Like, am I doing it right?
Right.
Even I would say with academic subjects also, am I doing it right? Will I be able to? And with subjects, what is it that if I am asking about a topic, you just have to give me that answer,
Yeah.
right? You, and it has a fixed answer to it, right? And but in theater, it's you expressing yourself, and what are people looking at,
Mm.
what is your performance looking like.
Mm.
So it makes you all the more conscious, and when you're all the more conscious, you tend to think twice before doing that, right? So it has been a journey where the kids were in the starting very much in that frame of mind that no, I won't be able to act, or maybe, I can't answer what ma'am is asking.
Mm.
Because I really urge my students to, start from scratch. You
Right.
just start talking to me,
Yeah.
that will also make a difference, right? Because there is a certain kind of hierarchy that is followed with the teacher and the student, right? You always know that the teacher is here and the student is the one who's learning from the teacher,
Right.
right? But if you take your teacher to be your friend, yeah, and you discuss with the teacher, and your teacher gives you that space to, experiment, talk to me, I'm giving you space, and then I'm giving you, positive responses to whatever you are asking, not just for the sake of it, but if you're asking me a question, I'm not saying that what kind of question are you asking.
Right.
I will give you explanation to what you're asking. So the journey started from there, making them comfortable, and with time there were some naughty kids also before the pandemic started. So I have seen a huge difference in them, like, because maybe they were in the closed space of their houses also. There
Right.
is a huge difference in their personalities also, and they're a lot more interested in the craft that
Right.
is there, and rather than thinking that, Atulya ma'am is here to just teach me the subject,
Yeah.
she will teach me this subject and then she'll go away.
Right.
When they come back to my class, they are always thinking this, that what are we going to do new, right? And how can I express myself better, how
Yeah.
can I do this better? Because even if I do wrong, I'll know that ma'am is not going to say that, this was not good, how could you even do that.
Right.
Ma'am is only going to tell me in a polite way that, okay, let's go with this option also.
Mm.
So I think that process of understanding them and them then being friendly with me has really helped. And I see a lot of difference in all of my kids, like the ones who were quieter are now responding well. Because it's very simple, Akash, I must tell you that even in your colleges also, you
Right.
guys switch off your camera, you put yourselves on mute, right? And the teacher will not know what you're doing, right? And there have been times when I have also seen these situations in my class where all the cameras are off, only one or two of them have, switched off their classes, the cameras. And so I, as soon as I entered to the class, that's also like a demotivating thing for a teacher to see, all the cameras are off. But then to tell them it's okay, if you're sleepy, I'm also feeling sleepy, I'm not feeling that great. I don't go into all of my classes looking all pretty or, prim and proper in all of my classes. It's okay. We are all human beings.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I just have a quick, I do a quick face wash, and then I tie up my hair and just go for the class. And I tell them, just look at me. Do you think that I am here to, are we being judged on how we are looking? And then slowly and steadily they are also learning that it is not how you look, but how you are as a person.
Right.
So that really changes of how you think. And it has helped a lot, the kids, it has helped a lot. And I'm happy to see the change in them.
So, do you think like acting just stays in theater, or do we also act in real life?
We do a lot of acting in real life. I'm pretty sure that we all do a lot of acting in our real lives also. Like, I'm pretty sure we are a different kind of person in front of our parents,
Right.
and with our friends we are completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with our close friends we are all the more different,
Right.
right? So we know that there are different faces that we have in front of different. What is that? We are acting also all the time, right? You don't go like, you won't act in a certain way in front of your parents, but in front of your friends you're going to be more free, you know what to say, what not to say. So we keep filtering that also, and that I think in itself is a big part of acting that we all do in our daily lives, but we do not realize that this is something that has been happening for a long time, and some of us might be really really good,
Right.
which is at lying. Lying is also an art
Right.
because
Of course. Of course.
caught. Yeah, because some of us get really easily get caught, and some of us, I mean, after years also you don't figure out what happened on that day. So
Yeah.
I think it's an art that we all do in our daily lives. And it's been going on for very long. I think only a few realize that they are really good at doing this.
Right. So it helps improve the quality of life, like
Yeah,
in
of
jobs
course.
and
Quality of life, yeah. And also, yeah, if you think it to be a part of confidence, like if you take it to like interacting,
yeah.
if I want to say something, I'm not going to say that what Akash is going to feel. Of course, I'm going to be sensible of what I'm going to say,
Right.
but I am going to put my thoughts forward, because some
Right.
of us, I mean, all of us, I believe, have a number of thoughts that cross our minds on
Right.
day to day lives, and some thoughts can really make in a change. But what we do is that we keep it to ourselves.
Because it's uncomfortable.
Maybe, yeah, it's uncomfortable, and you are scared that what if I put this out in front of people, and people think, what is this idea, what is she even saying? Like, I
Right.
mean, just because people are not ready to accept that it is not always that what you're going to say is going to be accepted by everybody.
Right.
And it does take time also to you to receive that kind of if somebody is giving you some criticism, it's also a bit difficult for some people to take in that criticism and work towards it positively. So I think
Right.
it takes time, and with time only it comes that you feel, you take out what you really feel like, and you put yourself out there. I
Right.
think, which I think most of us don't do, because we are very very conscious of
Yeah.
what's happening around us and what's happening in our lives. We might be judged. So that's the biggest fear.
So, like this line, fake it till you make it, right? If you are
Hmm.
not confident, but you act like you're confident, and eventually
Hmm.
you will become confident. You'll internalize all the actions that you're doing. So, all these
Hmm.
things that come from acting, it can really help
Hmm.
you build your personality in ways that you want.
Yes, and also one very important aspect of acting is observation. like
Right.
observing what's going around you,
Right.
right?
Right.
I have seen a lot of people in my life who would enter a room full of people and just blabber whatever they feel, and they're not even looking at what's happening around,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that is also something you can observe and learn. That is something you would not want to do,
Right.
right? It is sometimes important to understand what the situation is.
Yeah.
That might be a funeral,
Right.
that you are going out and saying something that you really feel, and people have to see that it is important to analyze the situation and what you're saying in that moment and point of time, right?
Right.
There's always a right time to say some things also. So I think that that consciousness needs to come in.
So the theater uses so many props that you get awareness of the situation that you are in, what your
Yeah.
objects are, what its uses are. So like it can help you in many different situations in real life as well, right?
Yeah, it really depends on situations to situation. That, like, see, with props is that you are aware of your surroundings.
Right.
That is how you can relate life and props, right?
Right. Right.
You're very much aware of what's around you, and
Right.
you're consciously acting with it, right? If there is a mobile phone in a scene, it has to be used at some point of time.
Right.
It is kept there for a reason, or you just look at it's because that is the scene that requires you to look
Yeah.
into that thing. Similarly, in real life also, it makes you conscious of what is around you, and what is around you is mostly people, so it makes you conscious of how people are around you and how are you reacting to them.
Right.
So it's a certain kind of awareness that builds on.
So it gives you sort of objectivity as well, right? Like you said that everyone is not the main really what was
Yes,
that
yes. Yeah, so I always believe that we all take ourselves to be very, very important, right?
uh,
I know self love is very important, but we tend to do this part where we think that we are the main characters everywhere,
yeah.
right? Whatever is happening, it is going to affect me.
Right.
It is going to change me, or it is going to, I am going to feel hurt, or there are people who think about others also, but eventually it comes out to be like, it is affecting me in this scenario. So I think it's very important to understand that you are not only the main character. There
Right.
are different people who are thinking of themselves as their main characters also. So so being aware that how people are thinking about these things, and being what I would say is that being aware of how the other person feels is also something that theater really teaches you, because you observe, you
Right.
understand body language, and you react accordingly.
Right.
So I think it is very important that this is something that theater teaches you, that you are not always the main character. You can be the side character also, and can be equally important,
Exactly. Like
right?
koi role chota nahi hota, so that you
कोई
understand the concept. Yeah.
यस, जस्ट नॉट दैट कि आप कोई मेन कैरेक्टर हैं, इसीलिए ही आप इम्पोर्टेंट हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Right.
कभी-कभार इवन इफ यू लुक इनटू ऑर्गनाइजेशंस, मे बी द स्मॉलेस्ट पर्सन, आई मीन द पर्सन विद द लोएस्ट जॉब
Right.
designation is doing something very, very remarkable,
Right.
but you're not knowing,
Yeah.
because we are only looking at the main character.
Yeah. So,
So that's it.
if you write about a character in theater, so the students can
Hmm.
actually see the personality traits of the character and see how human beings actually are, how they are different from each other, how they behave with each other
Yeah.
in situation.
Yes, it's a lot of observation that goes around also. So we do a lot of activities in where they have to observe what's happening around. Like,
Yeah.
kuch bhi mat lo, you just take your parents
Yeah.
or your sibling.
Yeah.
You know that what do they do, and I mean their body language. How do they speak to you? Yeah,
Right.
and how do they speak to others? Certain things that they repeat again and again. And similarly, there would be some people around you that you have must have observed them really nicely,
Mm.
right? And you know that this can be taken as a character. So your characters can be inspired from different people that you see around, right? I have told you that Akash, you're going to be an old man who's like in his 80s,
Right.
right? And maybe your grandfather must be in that age.
Right.
or somewhere near that age. So you have to act like an 80-year-old man. So you can take inspiration from what he does. Maybe वो बहुत जल्दी गुस्सा कर देते हो, है ना, या फिर आपको बहुत ज्यादा प्यार कर देते हो. So you can always take inspiration from those characters and put some of what you have in yourself also, and then together make out a new character. So it's very important how we observe also. So in characters also, I always tell my kids and the learners that it is very important that you observe,
Right.
because observing is also going to help you to interact and at the same time to act also.
And it's not just in theater, it's in real life as well. Like if you choose role models and
Hmm.
internalize their personality traits, you will.
Yes. Yes, you would want to follow what they are doing, right? But at the same time, their scenarios might be
Diff-
completely different,
right.
and yours are completely different.
Yeah.
So you are going to come somewhere in between. You're going to take some of their habits and
Right.
right, and looking at your scenario, what can you do best,
Right.
and then come up with a plan. So it is thinking effectively to what is the best for you.
It's very well put. Okay, so can we come to some technical terms about acting?
Yes, sure.
Okay, like this is like very famous nowadays, method acting.
Hmm.
So can you like
So,
explain?
yeah. So method acting, I mean, what mostly people know is that is like, internalizing that character, going through the emotional layers of what the character has gone through. And for that also, people tend to go to different measures. Like if some character has not taken a bath for a few months,
Hmm.
you tend to do that, and then you think that maybe you would feel like getting into, now you that character just
Right.
because you didn't take bath for a few months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one to its own, like maybe that can work for you,
Right.
maybe that cannot work for you, and the deciding factor of what if it's working or not is how convincingly are you portraying that character.
Hmm.
When you're looking at yourself as that character, are you convinced with what you are doing, and the people who are watching you as that character, are they also thinking that okay, we can see this character? Yeah, are we able to see this xyz character in this person? And for some person it could be a completely different method also. It could be suddenly switching into this method of getting into this character. You have read about this character
Hmm.
and you have thought in your mind that you're going to perform this character in this way,
Right.
right? And you come and you rehearse and you do this character in this way.
Hmm.
And some people think that by doing it physically you then get into the character. So
Hmm.
there are different ways on how people take that acting method. So I think that method is one to its own, that it is completely on you as an actor, that what are you willing to do for that character. And I don't think so only method acting is going to put you there. There are different ways to reach that character, and also what is comfortable with you, right? I am the director and I am going to tell you that Akash, you have to act like Joker. So
Right.
you don't have to do everything that Joker does in his life, right?
Right.
You can take some traits from there. You can see, okay, I can do this character, or maybe this voice like this, right? You have certain idea, but you don't need to do how that actor did. What is comfortable for you and what can work. Maybe doing the method acting thing is not feasible for you and you don't
That
want to
could cause
get
a
into
lot
that.
of social issues in my personal life as well. Like if I send rats as gifts to people.
Yeah, I think that is also one thing. And also, I mean, it's very important to detach yourself from the
Right.
character also.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you go crazy.
you play that character for a while only. You
Yeah.
don't have to get into that character so into that by the next time some person is talking to you, you are not Akash, you are this XYZ character, and they might think that you've gone crazy. We
Right.
don't know you now, right?
Yeah.
You're completely different, but your process is that you want to be like this character. So
Right.
it's very important that you make out that what is that you exactly want to do and what is comfortable for you to do, what is
Yeah.
the road that you want to.
Okay. So if we look at plays or if we look at movies, we know that it's not real, that it is a fictitious scene that is going on. but we like
Hmm.
to be in this suspended disbelief and like to pretend that this is actually happening. So what
Hmm.
if a person is overacting or not acting well enough? Then we detach from that reality, right? So
Hmm.
is that the goal of theater, to convince people that yeah, this is fake, but for a brief moment of time you should come into this reality with us and see it through our perspective.
Yes, so I think with theater, it is completely on how you find that role to be, also, right? You
Yeah,
are looking at some character that is going on right now, right? And you are thinking that, I am completely in this play, I am completely engrossed with this play, what is happening in the scene right now.
right,
And by the end, when the play gets over, you might also think as an individual that, this person did this role really, really well, but it really helps you get detached with what was happening, because as soon as the lights are on, I
yeah,
think that happens mostly with cinemas also, but theater, it is more there because it's going on live. You
right,
see the actors coming back, right?
yeah,
Them saying thank you, and then you applauding for them, and then you see them coming into
right,
their normal selves also, right?
right,
But as in cinemas, what happens, it's larger than life,
yeah,
like we say.
yeah,
So Superman, you've seen that Superman does so and so, he flies, he
yeah,
saves everybody. But do you know what happens in his real life? He's not that character, right? It's only when he comes to interviews you come to know, okay. But for some people,
mm,
they look at the character as the character only, which I think is a bit difficult to be in theater also. But I think great actors have done that also, where they have been remembered for the roles that they have played. Yeah,
yeah,
so it has happened that way also. And I think it's all about hard work, how much hard work you put into the play or the movie, that makes people remember of your
yeah,
character. You eventually, of course, realize that this is not, the person is not actually having superpowers or is this XYZ character, but with the conviction that the person does that
right.
role is what really makes you, feel that wow, this was really good.
When you see their interviews and you see their personality completely different from the role they were playing.
And that is the process that they go through,
Yeah,
from being A to reaching Z. I
yeah,
mean, that is the long way that they take. And they convince you that, we are this character. And that is how audience also accepts you
right,
as an artist.
right. And you said that most people don't realize how hard it is to be an actor because there's a lot of study involved, learning
Yeah.
philosophies, learning methods.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that till now also people are not aware that, there is a proper study also that goes around. Like theater is not taken as a hobby. People study theater. Like I did masters in theater. There is MPhil. There's PhD in theater. People do all of that also, where you talk about different methodologies of acting and different directing styles. Everything is there, which people are not aware of. And I think with time that awareness will come, when people will see that, there are options that are there for you. Like in the production world also now, everything is opening up, right? And people are understanding that there
mm,
are different parts to it. It's not just the actor and the director. There
right,
is a whole production team also that happens with theater, also with your Bollywood also, everything. There is a production team there is lighting, there is backstage team, there is proper hair, there is proper makeup, everything that, goes on behind the scenes to, see the performance, what comes out of it.
mm,
So I think people need to understand and also value the profession, not for the sake of, those Bollywood stars only, that, we see
right.
them on that big screen. That's why,
Yeah,
acting is important, but there is a study also that goes behind that.
of course. The hard work that writers put up to build up the
Yes,
characters, the stories.
yes. How it actually comes into life.
Yeah,
Because it's a whole process that goes through, like something is written in text, and then how are you going to say that thing?
yeah.
That's a completely different thing. And how convincing are you there
Right.
on stage? That
Like
is what makes the change.
like you said that Superman, if he gives a convincing performance, but if the CGI people or people who put up the green screen and visual effects don't do their job properly, then it won't
Yeah,
be convincing. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's a
it would
teamwork.
look as some man is just hanging over there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it would look really funny. And just because you have certain people with different technologies working behind the screens, you
right,
see something completely different on screen.
yeah,
We cannot fly. That is not invented till now that we can fly on our own, right? It will take time to come in future.
yeah,
So everything is in the process, but understanding that everything cannot be just done by the actor and
right.
the director. There's a whole team
Of
together
course, of course.
that puts the show in front. So I think that's important to learn, and also learn about different fields, not just theater. I think people are not aware of what music really is. Music is not just that you are listening to some great personality singing and it is
Right.
soothing to your ears. It does a lot to you also. It calms you, it makes you feel good,
Yeah,
right? We just feel that for a moment. And there's a study also, right? You
right,
study, like you study theater, you do your masters in music. And I think it's very important that people become aware and at least know that this can be taken as a career option
right.
in future. Yeah.
So the skills that besides acting, if there is a director, he also needs to say learn about leadership so that he can manage the
Yes.
crew together. So he can
Yes.
boost up the morale,
Yes.
things like
It's
that.
very important. Yeah, it's very important for the director also to be leader, but to be a team player also,
Right.
right? It cannot always be like the director is just going out there and giving instructions,
Yeah.
which is the duty, to tell that how the scene should look and what the director's vision is.
Right.
But it should be also a team player where the actors are feeling like, okay, we are a part of a team and
Mm,
we are making this production together for it to be showcased at a certain place where we will be all looked as a team. So I think that is very important for a director to have. And also the vision is being portrayed properly in front of what you are thinking. If you are directing a play, there must be a vision that you've put forward, and you would want your audience to see that in your play. So
mm,
that for that to come across, you have to be a team player and you have to understand the actors and the team behind it. So it's a mixed effort that goes in with the actors, with between the directors, and not just actors and directors, but also the team that is behind, the makeup that goes, the costume people, everything. It has to be together for it to look good. Otherwise, one actor on stage without good costume might not convince you.
of course.
So it has to come together.
So talking about director's vision, so how much do you think the producer undercuts the vision of the director or enhances it? What is your opinion on that?
I can't talk for Bollywood because I do not know so much, but I know that there is a lot of money involved, right? Because if you're producing something, there is of course some cost involved in it. And I mean, in Bollywood, it happens that the producer, if the person is putting XYZ amount, so that person has some amount of say, of course. So
Yes.
I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure that money speaks for itself and it does something to the cast also. So I'm
So
pretty sure there must be something
नहीं
going
होता
on with the
क्या?
cast that the producer also likes.
थिएटर में
Haji?
प्रोड्यूसर नहीं होते, like those who come the
Theater में you don't have that much, but yeah, producers, it is mostly director, putting their own money to do a whole production, or maybe you're sponsored by some company or something. it's
right.
it's a completely different game there, but here you have that artistic freedom
Hmm.
where the director decides and the team together decides that okay, this is what is going to happen, and not just about the money. Because since very honestly talking, theater does not have a lot of money involved in it, like the
Right.
and I think it needs to change also.
Okay. But doesn't that make it more grounded? Like instead of Superman flying, you see three, four homely
Yeah,
people.
it does make it very grounded, but that doesn't mean that they don't have bills to pay, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, they do have bills to pay. Just because they are acting in front of you on the stage, that doesn't mean that they can just go on forever. They also have a livelihood
Hmm.
to maintain, and they also need to earn for themselves. Just because they are not there where Superman is, that doesn't mean that, you don't have to be paid. At least be paid decent enough
Yeah.
for the craft that you're doing. And I think it will only come when, actors uh, will feel that theater is also, because mostly people go for the big screen acting,
Yeah.
right? They are
Right.
very and it has money also, right? And the game will change when they think that theater, where the acting is happening, it has to also have that kind of appreciation also, because in our country also most people do not go to see theater plays,
Yeah.
right? People are mostly going to the cinema halls. Theater plays, only the people who really like theater go to watch theater plays. So the trend has to also change, and maybe the way we do our plays has to change also. We also need to make some changes in how we do it, so that people are attracted towards this craft also,
Hmm.
and make it equally important, because there are a lot of people who go from theater to the big screen. It's always starting from the theater. Mostly it is always starting from the theater space.
I've seen so many big actors now coming back to theaters from TV, because it is now considered real acting is in Broadway and theaters, because
Yeah,
you're
and also,
yeah.
yes, and also the audience, the thing I was talking to you about, like, the audience is looking at you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
While you're doing a monologue or a scene,
Right.
you're aware that the audience is there looking at you,
Yeah.
and the decision is made by the end of the play. Was your performance good? And maybe sometimes you are there on the stage doing a scene and the audience is really happy, they clap for you, right? And that also gives you a lot of happiness. So I think actors do come back for that happiness, that really makes them connect with the audience in this way also, where they can perform live in front of their audience and see their reaction of what their performance is. It's like a report card is ready by the end of your performance. You will know whether it was good or not, and
Right.
first hand reviews by the audience. If you've seen a play, you will, of course, if you like an actor acting on stage, you will of course go up to that actor and say, I really loved your performance.
Yeah.
And that actually doesn't happen as soon as the movie is over. You cannot go to
No, you can't.
Salman Khan and tell him that, sir, आपकी performance बहुत अच्छी थी. What you can do is mostly is that go on social media and write down.
Right.
But for these actors to really connect with the audience, you have them on that space where they are very much accessible to you, and you can appreciate them, and they can also see the love that you're giving them, and maybe that is the reason they come back to theater.
See, because it's there is no marketing involved, like between the audience and the actor. It's live. अब सलमान खान
Yes.
और उसकी मूवी के बीच में इतनी marketing, it's so many posters
Ah,
and all, so people will
yeah.
get
The level
influenced.
of marketing is different.
Sorry.
The level of marketing there is very, very different.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a whole PR team to look after
Right.
everything,
Right.
but here we don't have that. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I think we also need to do something about the marketing bit of it, so that this is also as much as popularized as your movies are.
Right. Acha, can we like real quick talk about ad lib or improvisation? Like if a actor forgets a line.
Mm. So, improvisation is a very important, and a very, what do you say, something that really makes an actor aware of his surroundings, right? Improvisation is you. Uh, i- I'll just give you an example that you are doing your speech, right? You've prepared a speech for yourself, and you go out there doing your speech, and you suddenly forget some lines,
Right.
right? But you know the essence of what you have to say. So
Right.
you make up a few lines, and it means the same also. And the audience doesn't realize,
Of course.
right? That is the talent of improvisation that you get. And I think we all tend to do it in day to day lives, because everything is not scripted, right? That happens in life. That's a quality, I think, that you learn to, adapt in different situations. You
Right.
know what to do. And for actors, it is very important, because, as I said, like, everything is not planned, and sometimes with improvisation what happens, the scene looks more beautiful.
Of
It
course.
looks, maybe you have scripted something,
Yeah.
right? But in between the conversation, something like this happens, that it has a deeper meaning to it,
Right.
just because of improvisation. I planned that I will say this, and it might look good, right? And
It
it might
go with the
sound good
flow.
to people. Yes, going with the flow, but also being aware of what you're saying.
Right.
Improvisation is not just done for the sake of just doing it,
Right.
but also making you aware of what you're saying, and in case something XYZ happens,
Right. Right.
how can you,
And it is bound to
come
happen.
back? Yeah,
Something
and it
XYZ
is,
is
yeah,
bound to happen. Right.
yeah, and it only prepares you and makes you conscious enough, so that you can make that quick
Right.
change, whether it's on the basis of how you're performing or how you are in person.
So
So
that's another
improvisation,
quality of learning acting, thinking on your feet.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
pretty you
actors
are.
are always on.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, last question that I have to ask you is like you are taking theater workshops. So if someone wants to learn acting, how can they contact you? Like through Instagram?
Yes, you can contact me through Instagram, where the name is same, Atulya Manoj, and you can DM me, and I give out personal workshops also,
Yeah.
which are focused on acting. And also you can reach me through my Facebook account also, which goes by the same name. And now that you've seen my face, you can reach out to me there, and I'll share my links, so
Right.
that you can easily
Right.
reach
I'll
out
put
to
it in
me.
the bio. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was really nice talking to you. We'll do this
same here,
again.
Akash. Sure, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.